Perfect Turd Podcast, episode 159, Lamar, Minutes to Midnight.
Well, Happy New Year, Joe.
Happy New Year to you, sir.
We made it through a lot of things, and we're still here, Joe. So Happy New Year's to everybody. Yeah.
Oh, what'd you think of the movie?
Jump right into it. Well, we watched Minutes to Midnight, which is a movie that is happening on New Year's. Just a rundown of it is a couple of friends go to a cabin, Joe. There's a killer afoot.
Killers.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk, but yeah, it's a typical, well, not too typical. Kids go out and then they get involved in some nasty killings, Joe.
We kind of talked about it, but let's dive in deeper and talk about what do we rate the story.
It's this small town, you know, and it's like this office. They're all like, hey, guys, let's go and have a nice little party in a cabin because, of course, there's no reason to go to someone's house that's very safe.
Well, you always go to a cabin in the woods.
You always go to a cabin that's secluded where you don't have any contact with anybody. This is the weird thing. There's supposed to be a storm.
Yeah. That never really comes into play. No,
yeah, they mention it, but
they're like, you can't be out there. There's a storm coming, and it never comes into play in the movie.
No, never.
But meanwhile, a character, his brother is missing. So he's looking for his brother, and he happens upon the idiots in the woods.
So this man takes it upon himself to find his brother, which we'll talk about characters and cameos in this movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about. Now, the sheriff knows that killings take place every New Year's, but he never, I guess, does anything about it.
Well, there's a reason why, because he's kind of responsible for it. But as a police officer, you would think maybe we should solve this mystery before the next New Year's.
Yeah,
they never do that in this town.
Well, what do we think of this? What are we rating the story?
I give it a 0.5 point because there's a lot going on that doesn't really kind of join together. It's interesting, but then it's like, oh, it's a storm. Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, why does this happen every year, Sheriff? Well, we never solve it. It's that kind of stuff. It's interesting, but not cohesive. That's my...
I agree. 0.5 point for me. Really, the thing that kills it for me the most is that they went to a cabin in the woods. I hate that cliche so much. Like, if it was a bunch of people, just at a New Year's Eve party, and for some reason, that storm that was supposed to come actually came, they were trapped there, and they have no way out, and then the killers come, then I'd be like, okay, this is a little more palatable to me. So, 0.5 point.
Yeah, that would make more sense, too. Yeah.
Yeah. The next category is an interesting one. What did we think of the characters / cameos in this movie? Because there's a lot.
There's a lot of people in this movie, but we got to go, I think, with the cameos first. Okay. That's just my opinion. Because in this movie, we have William Baldwin.
Yeah. William
Baldwin of the Baldwin brothers. So I want to say his name right. I'm probably not saying it. Richard Grieco. He's in a lot of B movies. He was in 21 Jump Street back in the day. Yeah. Joe, help me with this one. John Hennigan.
Right. AKA John Morrison, Johnny Blaze, Johnny Elite, Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Onyx, Johnny Spade, and Johnny Superstar.
He's a wrestler. Yeah, I didn't know he had all those names. I thought what was the first one? John Morrison?
Morrison.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's an uninteresting wrestling name. But yes, he's in it. He's the guy that's looking for his brother. Mm-hmm. Other cameos. I'm going to go full nerd on this one. The assistant deputy sheriff, played by the name of Christopher Judge. You know why this man is significant?
No.
Joe?
Tell me.
If you don't know, God of War just had a new reboot.
Okay.
This man, Christopher Judge, plays the new Kratos in both of those games. And he is awesome. So
shout out to him. Are you sure it's the same guy or not just a guy with the same name?
No, it's Christopher Judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you'd be pretty embarrassed.
I know this, Joe. Yes.
Okay. Bill Moseley was in this movie from Rob Zombie movie fame. Basically playing the same characters that he always plays. Unhinged backwoods guy.
He's so good at it, though, Joe. You watch the movie, there's a couple that randomly is supposed to meet them in the woods.
Okay.
And there's a Caucasian woman, and they get killed.
Okay, yeah.
Her name is Dominique Swain. She is in one of my favorite action movies of all time, Face Off. She plays Jamie as the daughter of Sean Archer.
Thanks for that, Lamar.
Yeah, you learned something new every day.
So,
Yes.
what do you rate it for characters?
Oh,
Cameos?
well, I thought we were going to talk about the actual character. We
Oh,
just
yeah.
talked about cameos. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will
Sorry,
say this.
I took over. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I will say this. I was pleasantly surprised with all the characters and cameos. And Baldwin in particular, I thought when the movie first started, I was like, "Oh, he's here just here to collect a paycheck," but he wasn't. He was good. He was hamming it up. He was good.
He was great, but I don't know, Joe. I have to disagree with you. I don't think he was the best part of this movie.
Okay, who'd you think was the best?
Richie was the best part of this movie. The comic relief. He is a complete doofus in the movie, but I think he's hilarious.
Well, I give it 1 point for characters and cameo. This was good.
I agree. Yes, just on just how many people were in this movie and everything like that. Yes.
Next category is, what did we think of the kill/fight scenes in this movie?
Okay, we're gonna have this discussion. Okay, John Morrison, one of his names. Of course, he's going to be, physically inept to do some stuff in this movie. There's a weird speed ramp thing that goes on with his fight scenes. Yeah. Like, I get it, but it was just like, it was like 300, like, and I was just like, okay, sure.
It's all right. He did some moves. Yeah. I thought he was going to do more parkour. He's known for his parkour.
I thought he was going to do more wrestling moves. I was
more
like,
wrestling.
Like
you
more.
Thought he was going to do like a Hurricanrana or something.
Yeah, because we watched. What was it? Girls Gone Dead, and you had a legend in there. What was his name? I cannot remember his name.
We had Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler, who did a pile driver. So I thought, if you're going to have a wrestler, you're going to have him do more wrestling.
And also the kills were okay because the bad guys they decapitated a few people.
Yes.
I'm going to say it was okay. I'll give it a 1 point.
I'm giving it a 0.5, Joe. I wanted more.
Okay. Well, the next category, Lamar, this is important because at first I thought we were getting fooled. The next category is TNA.
1.
I agree. 1 point. Now, here's
Are we going to discuss? Because
yes. Because at first they tricked me because they had some, but it was hidden in strobe light effect.
we have to talk about that scene.
Okay.
Because there's another New Year's scene. Is that related? Is to them in any way? Like,
I don't know.
It's in the same town. The killers go there first.
Yeah.
I guess it was a warm up for going in the cabin.
I don't know.
Or something. And then, of course, when you're watching it, like, she's like, yeah, New Year's. Lights go off, strobe effect. Her dress comes down randomly.
Yeah. So I was just kind of like, oh, they're going to hide the boobs in the strobe light effect. But nope, we just 10 minutes later, we had back-to-back scenes. So yes, 1 point.
Yeah, there was a sex scene. And then, of course, Joe, I don't know if our audience knows this. If you spill something on a man, he just changes his shirt.
Yeah.
If you spill something on a woman, she takes a shower.
She has to go take a shower.
She just goes take a shower. I was like, movie rules.
Well, what can you say?
Yes.
Well, our last category, since this is New Year's.
Yes.
And this is a quote-unquote New Year's themed movie. What did we think of the New Year's theme / New Year's spirit, whatever?
It takes place during New Year's, but it doesn't have enough of a spiritual connection to New Year's, I feel like, Yeah.
So the killer, he's getting revenge on young people because his kids were bullied. So every New Year's, he tries to rid his neighborhood of toxic people. And that's the only real tie-in to New Year's, that he does it on New Year's, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
They could have used maybe like a New Year's like countdown. Like he had to get something done by a certain time. Like the countdown played a role in this or something.
The New Year's killer or something like that.
Something like even just kill someone, like drop the ball on their head, like the New Year's ball or something. So honestly, for New Year's theme, I'm going to give it a 0.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 0.
I was going to give it half a point. I feel like I agree with you. Like, maybe kill somebody like every 10 minutes until, New Year's. But there's none of that. Something, but it wasn't enough. But you gave it a 0. I was just going to give it like a half point. So.
Well, Lamar, we tallied the score. and this movie gets a solid 3.5 out of 5.
It was okay. Just if you're gonna do New Year's, do New Year's.
Yeah,
Add
do it
some
up.
stuff to it. Yeah, do it up, man. Yeah.
I was entertained well enough though. It was okay.
Yes.
It looked good.
Yes. It did. Yes.
So, all right. Well, I guess that wraps us up then.
Yep.
Minutes to midnight. Peace and Happy New Year.
Same. Deuces.